I think we both know I don't have what it takes to do this, so I'm just gonna change your diaper real quick and then I'm gonna come back with my friend Cable. He loves killing kids. Okay, we are back, and tonight we are doing a movie. Um, we're doing another review, and this time not of an old movie, of a relatively newer film. Tonight we are doing Inglourious Basterds. I love it. I said before, Quentin Tarantino is my absolute number one favorite director of all time. Although it took me a little while to realize that for myself, but I fully embrace it now. He absolutely is. With Denis Villeneuve being like a close second. Denis Villeneuve is his two completely different styles of directing is just wonderful. Two different styles of film. Anyway, before we get too far into this, I just want to say that these videos are completely unedited and unfiltered. So whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. I will say adult things, like I just said, like the quote from this one, and I'm sure plenty of other things, especially for a film like this. So if your kids are in the room, you probably want to ask them to leave the room or put your headphones on. And I also want to let you know that there will be spoilers. So just know that underneath this video, there'll be a whole list of movies. Every single movie that I mention, quote, or give a spoiler away for will be listed underneath the video, and you'll be able to see a header that says spoilers. If you want to avoid spoilers for any of the movies that I give spoilers for, you can avoid that if you haven't seen it. Or if you don't care, you can just watch. So we are doing Inglourious Basterds tonight, with qualifies for something in the book. Challenge number 31, a film festival winner. Of course, I could have picked plenty of different films, but as much Quentin Tarantino as I can get on my list of reviews, as many as I can get in this book, I'll be happier. Okay. Movie title, Inglourious Basterds. Year released, 2009. Aspect ratio, 2.39:1. Running time, 2 hours and 33 minutes. Genre, adventure, drama, war. I think I've said this before. It's interesting that they have a war genre on IMDb. Okay. Rated R. Date challenge completed a couple of nights ago. Unfortunately, things did not go the way I wanted to. I wanted to record this a couple of days ago, but it didn't happen. I watched this movie and did all my notes on August 8th. It is now almost 10 o'clock, August 11th, which unfortunately you guys probably won't get the video until August 12th. My rating, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Love this movie. The only reason why I don't watch it more often is the subtitle thing. Now, I'm not one of those people that shies away from films that are subtitled. I don't care that much, but I have to be in a certain mood to sit and watch and read the entire thing and have no distractions, because I'm sitting there reading. And I'm one of those people that does not like dubbed films. I don't like that because I want to hear the original actor saying the original words in their voice, with their inflection, with their tone. So I always like to read either foreign films, subtitled films, anything like that. I always like to read them because I want to hear the actor's performance. And most of this, of all of Tarantino's films, this is the only one that is just mostly it's subtitled. I would say definitely more than half. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's not more than half, but it seems like a lot. It does seem like a lot. Anyway, moving on. Starring way too many people to put on this stupid little line. Well, not way too many people, but there are a lot of people that are great that I need to mention, so I always go to IMDb for this because there's just not enough room in the book. The stupid little lines they give you is not nearly enough room. Brad Pitt is amazing in this film. Diane Kruger is great. Eli Roth. Melanie Laurent is out of this world. I love her to death in this film. Christoph Waltz blows my mind. The definition of outstanding performance. He's just brilliant in this film. Michael Fassbender, I love him. He's great in this film. There are so many other people that I don't know them per se, like from other things. Maybe I've seen them once or twice, but I don't know them like I know a lot of these other actors. But I do want to mention Daniel Bruhl, Till Schweiger. Is it Till Schweiger? Who else do I really want to mention? I mean, everybody's great in this. I can't believe Mike Myers is in this. Really? Why did they put Mike Myers in this? But this movie is it's wonderful. And the acting is just brilliant by just about everybody in this film. Okay, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Produced by Lawrence Bender is the only one who actually says produced by. Everybody else is like co-producer or executive producer, executive co-producer, all this. He's the only one that actually says produced by Lawrence Bender. Written by Quentin Tarantino. Now, here's the interesting one. I can't figure out why this is. It's a mystery to me. Music by. There is no music by. Watch the movie. On IMDb, I was like, why can't I find the music by? Why can't I find out who did the music? And I'm like, this has got to be some kind of weird IMDb glitch. Like, I've pointed out before, certain little glitches or certain little blah, blah, blah on IMDb. And I'm like going, why can't I find who did the music for this? This is insane. This is ridiculous. So I put the movie in and I said, okay, pay attention to who does the music so you can write it down. Because I normally do the book before I do watch the movie. And in the film, there is no music by. Anywhere. In the beginning, in the end credits, in any of it. And I literally went frame by frame by frame. There is no music by. But there is clearly music. There is clearly a soundtrack. So when you get to the very end of the film and it says songs, they put it there, which is interesting. I don't know why they did that. And there's a bunch of songs written by Ennio Morricone. Or Ennio Morricone. I don't know if it's Morricone or Morricone. Who did The Hateful Eight, which I love it. Who's done so much music. So much great music. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. John Carpenter's The Thing. Red Sonja, The Untouchables. He's done so much fantastic, wonderful music, and I don't know why he's not credited as doing music in this film, but he's not. At the end, they list a bunch of songs. A bunch of them are his. He wrote them, but also, I didn't sit there and count them, but as many times as I saw Ennio Morricone or Morricone, as many times as I saw his name, I also saw this other name, Jacques Lussier. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Jacques Lussier. I also saw him among the songs that were done. So I'm assuming these two guys wrote pieces for the film, and then instead of putting them both as the music by these two guys, they decided to put the songs at the end. I've never seen that before. And I don't know why they did that for this film. I think it's weird and very unclear as to who did the music. So it's strange. Awards received. You know what? I wonder... No. I was like, was it nominated for Academy Award? If it was nominated for Academy Award for music, who did the Academy say the music was by? But it wasn't nominated for music. So, which is neither here nor there. The music is great. I love it. But by no means do I feel like it was a snub. No. But it wasn't nominated. Anyway, awards received. Academy Award. Christoph Waltz won for Best Supporting Actor, and it was deserved. Now, who else was nominated? Because, like I said, I like to, before I really throw myself behind somebody, I'd like to have seen the others. And sometimes, as I've said in other videos, I haven't seen everything. So this time, I'm looking at supporting actor in a supporting role. Christoph Waltz won for Inglourious Basterds. Matt Damon for Invictus, which I can't believe why. I can't figure out why he was nominated for supporting for that, because I feel like Invictus, he was the I only saw it twice, I think, once or twice, but I feel like he was the lead. Well, apparently the Academy didn't think so. And maybe somebody else, maybe other people don't think so. Maybe, Morgan Freeman's the lead. I don't know. But I felt like Matt Damon was the lead. Anyway, moving on. Oh my goodness. It was Morgan Freeman, right? Invictus is the one about Rugby, right? And Mandela? Yeah, it's Morgan Freeman. That's what I thought. Okay, I didn't misspeak. That is the one that I thought it was, Invictus. It's the rugby one. Anyway, moving on. Also nominated that year was Woody Harrelson in The Messenger, which I did not see. So I can't say with any real authority that Christoph Waltz should have won, but his performance is absolutely outstanding. Christopher Plummer in The Last Station, which also I did not see, and Stanley Tucci in The Lovely Bones. You know what? This sucks. I haven't seen. There's 3 movies, 3 actors nominated for Best Supporting, and I haven't seen any of those 3. So I can't say yes, he deserved it, but his performance is deserving at least of a nomination. Like, oh my God. So I'm glad that he won. I was glad that year that he won, but again, I didn't see everything, so I can't really say with any authority that he should have won. Okay. But this challenge is a film festival winner. So also under awards received, I put it won the Cannes Film Festival for Christoph Waltz Best Supporting Actor. So it not only won an Academy Award, it won a Cannes Film Festival Award and many other awards. But those are the 2 that I put there. Why did you choose this film? I absolutely love this film. This film is so brilliant, so wonderful. I mean, I love just... I'm Quentin Tarantino, like I already said, just brilliant stuff. The writing is brilliant. It's hilarious. The story is wonderful. The music is great. Camera work and the lighting. So this is the first movie, and I think I have I'll just say it now because I think I have a note as to this effect. This is the first movie where I really paid attention. This is the first Quentin Tarantino movie that I really was like blown away and started paying attention to the cinematography. Before this, I had not seen. I've said it in other videos. It took me a long time to get to see Kill Bill because the first couple of times I watched it, I didn't like it. The first Volume 1, and I didn't even care to see Volume 2. It took me a long time to go like a roundabout way after he had done some other artsy things like this, like on Django Unchained, that I finally appreciated what was there in Kill Bill, that for whatever reason, the first couple of times I tried to watch Kill Bill, it wasn't for me. And I maybe it was the time, maybe it was the frame of mind, who knows. But seeing this and then seeing Death Proof and was the one I just said, Django, I finally was able to appreciate what was going on, what he was doing in Kill Bill, and went back and was like, okay, now I like Kill Bill. Now I get it, I like it. It's not my favorite, but yes, now I get it, I like it. And so before seeing Inglourious Basterds, Pulp Fiction was a huge one. There's some good cinematography, but it is not overwhelmingly beautiful cinematography, in my opinion. And, you know, a couple of the other ones that I saw had seen at that time, Kill Bill being one of them, Jackie Brown. I love Jackie Brown. And I don't think I had seen Reservoir Dogs yet, or maybe I had seen it once and then was like, I'm not watching that again. It was that time period where I was like, I was so shocked by parts of it that I was like, I just couldn't watch it again. It took me a long time to get back to watch it again. Anyway, I got things popping up all over my, like, trying to get rid of stuff. Anyway, this is the first movie of Quentin Tarantino's that I was blown away by the cinematography and just loved the cinematography. So I don't know who did, who the director of photography was, but it's brilliant. It's lovely. And I have notes to that effect. Anyway, I'm spending too much time on these things. I have plenty of notes. I need to move on. Have I seen this movie before? Yes, plenty of times. I own it. Would you recommend this film? Yes and no. It is very, like of all of Quentin Tarantino's films, it's very in your face. It's very vulgar, graphic. This one's very graphic. And a lot of people don't like subtitles. So, yes, I would recommend it to people who I would think don't have a problem with all of those things. If they don't have a problem, you know, I normally don't like recommending things to people unless I know them well enough to recommend something. Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with in which way? None. And I feel like I don't think I could play anybody in this film as much as I would like to. This film is so I don't speak any other language. So the only people that I could play are the people who speak English. And of the people that speak English, sure, you could throw me into one of the bastards that speak English, sure. But I'm not Jewish. I don't look Jewish. Throwing me into some of those roles would be kind of hard. Would I be able to play? No. I mean, I can't play the ones that are German because the German ones speak German and I don't speak German. If you taught me how to speak another language, I would be able to play them, but I can't. So that whole thing, I can't answer that one. Either way I do that question, I can't answer that one. Best line or memorable quote. And I wants my scalps. I love him. Brad Pitt must have had such a great time doing this role. It's such a great role, and he has so many really cool lines. You're fighting in a basement offers a lot of difficulties. Number one, you're fighting in a basement. I love it. I love that line. That's so great. The first time I watched this movie, I laughed so hard. I think I watched it at home, and I had to rewind. I was laughing so hard. I had to pause and go, wait a second. Get it out, and then okay, now I can watch this part and see what's coming next. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? Yes, I was pleasantly surprised by multiple things in the last quarter of this film. The Nazi night, the Nazi night is great. The fact that they kill Hitler is hilarious. The fact that Aldo goes against his orders and anyway, we'll get there when he does the swastika on what's his name. If you haven't seen this movie, you shouldn't be listening to this review. So of course I'm going to give shit away, a ton of shit. So anyway, when he does the swastika on Landa's head, I was not expecting that at all, and it was hilarious. It was perfect. Which film festival award did this film receive? What? I already said that in the awards section. What do you like about this film? Just about everything. Again, the cinematography blew me away this time. Was it nominated for cinematography? It was nominated for cinematography. Avatar won? Okay, I'm going to say this now. Very, very unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of the Avatar films. Not. Why would I want to watch Dances with Wolves with a bunch of blue people, computer animated blue people, when Dances with Wolves, not only because I'm 33% Native American, it hits a chord, it's real, it's true, these things did happen, and I feel so much more as an audience member connected to those real people than I do these blue people on some planet that doesn't even really exist. I did not like Avatar. Did not. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Moved on. No, didn't see a need to watch it again. Second one came out. Everybody was raving about it. I watched the first one again. Felt the same way. Watched the second one and went, I don't know why I watched that. And I don't care to watch the third. And this time I won't be duped. If he makes more, good. I'm glad people love him. I'm glad he's making movies. I love just about everything else Cameron has done. The Avatar films are not my thing. So the fact that it won best cinematography on that year, really, especially over Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, fuck you. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was one of the most gorgeous fucking films I've seen almost ever. It is beautiful. Do I think the movie overall is one of the best? No. There's a huge missing at the end. As the audience member who did not read the book, I did not know the story. I did not read the book. I walked out of that movie going, something felt missing at the end. I felt like there was this huge build-up to nothing. Nothing happened at the end. And then I find out that there's a huge battle in the end of the book, but they didn't include it in the movie. I go, well, then that makes that. No wonder why as an audience member, I felt like something was missing. I was like, wait, they did all this beautiful work, storytelling, and focusing on Malfoy and blah, 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 and then nothing really happened at the end. They break some windows and then leave. And I just was so disappointed. Anyway, not to... I go off on too many tangents. Yes, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, cinematography-wise, was fucking gorgeous. And the music, the camera work, the lighting, the colors, gorgeous. Gorgeous. As much as I love Inglourious Basterds, which was nominated for cinematography, hands down, I wouldn't even have to think Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I would have voted for that any day of the week, twice on Sunday, probably twice on any day of the week. Also nominated was The White Ribbon, which I did not see, and The Hurt Locker. This was the year of The Hurt Locker, which I absolutely hated as well. I can't believe it took so many awards and was like, what? Actually, I don't know if I've said this before, but I was going to go into the military, Navy. My dad was in the Navy. My brother was in the Navy. I was about to go into the Navy. The job I was going to do was EOD. I was about to do that in the Navy. Long story, won't get into it. And so when this movie came out, I was sorely disappointed that it took so many awards home. And I felt like it didn't deserve it. I didn't care for the movie at all. I felt like it was a mosaic of everybody she had been married to. And none of it was her. Anyway, let's move forward. I've already spent way too much time on all this crap. Is there anything you would have done differently? I wouldn't have done differently anything in this movie. This movie is so fantastic. Anything else you'd like to add? I have plenty of notes, which, you're going to hate me because this is going to be a long video because I'm already rambling like crazy. Okay, here at the bottom, before its 1999 Sundance premiere, 19 hours of footage for The Blair Witch Project went through 8 months of editing. Holy crap. Okay, part of me just wants to watch that movie again just to give it some kind of like credit for that. Like, that's insane. I don't remember liking that movie. I remember being sick in the theater. It was too much. I couldn't get into it. But now at home, sitting in my living room with maybe the lights on, I might be able to appreciate it more. Because I certainly enjoyed Cloverfield. That was fantastic. And that had that same, like, all over the place. So I might be able to go back and enjoy Blair Witch Project. I don't know. I feel like I should give it a chance simply because of that. I mean, well, holy crap. How many? 8 months of editing? Okay. I feel like I should give it another chance. People took a lot of time to make that film. Okay, moving on. Chapter 1, Once Upon a Time in Nazi-Occupied France. Okay. I love that the first chapter is 21 minutes long. And at the time I watched this movie, I didn't know any of the actors in that entire first 21 minutes. Now there are 2 actors that I know from other things. Christoph Waltz being one of them. The other one being... I don't know her name offhand. I saw her and I know her face from... Now she's in like a couple of the James Bond movies. She's in Spectre and No Time to Die. Anyway, I recognized her now because of those films, but I didn't know her then. Christoph Waltz being the same thing. I had no idea who he was then, but I know now. So watching the first 21 minutes of this film, the first chapter, I didn't know anybody, and it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest, because every other Tarantino film I've seen, there was just like this huge cast of great people. Now, I knew Brad Pitt was going to be in this. I knew Michael Fassbender was going to be in this, but they were not in the first chapter, the first 21 minutes of the film. So it was really neat to fall in love with the film. Beautifully done, wonderfully acted. I mean, Christoph Waltz in this whole first section, and not knowing anybody on the screen. It was really neat. It was really a fun experience. Again, Christoph Waltz is outstanding. It's an outstanding achievement in, that's when you watch the Academy Awards, that's what they say. Outstanding achievement in. And he was definitely outstanding as the supporting actor. The ink and the pen. The ink and the pen. I mean, the little things he does, and I mention this throughout all my notes. The little things he does. Every little things he does. This being one of the bigger of the little things he does. The ink pen. I heard that was his idea. That he learned how to do all of that for this film. And it shows. It's brilliant. I love that he takes his time, because I feel like he does not have in his brain, he's not thinking, I am an actor, this is screen time, we need to get through. I feel like he is embodying the character so much that he doesn't give a fuck how long it takes to do this. He's going to do it right, like the character would. Precise, correct, and he's going to... And he gets his point across while he's talking as he does certain things. It's so brilliant. There are some people that can do this kind of busy work. It's not really busy work because it is important. But he does it so brilliantly. It's just, not everybody can pull that off. Same thing with eating. Not everybody can pull off eating while you're performing. I think I made a note of this when I did Reservoir Dogs. The guy had a plate of pancakes there, and he pops a couple of what looks like popcorn in his mouth, but he doesn't eat. Why? Because either the director didn't want him to, or he just can't. There are some actors that are not good eating through food, or excuse me, acting through food, acting through eating. So I forget who it was. Maybe it was John Voight. I forget who it was. But he said the mark of a great actor, one of the marks of a great actor, is being able to eat and perform at the same time. Because you're yes, in real life you do that, and you do it naturally, but it's not something you would ever think of doing on film or theater or anything like that. You're acting and you're paying attention to so many things. It's a distraction. It becomes a distraction, and it's not as easy to do that. Anyway, his busy work is brilliant. And with the pen in the beginning, the fountain pen, the ink pen, just wonderful. I love that slow pan coming down where they're talking, and we're like, where are we going? Where are we going? And then all of a sudden we go through the floorboards on the bottom. We see them underneath the house. And I was like, oh shit. Great reveal done so well. So well. I love that Christoph Waltz is so natural and nonchalant as he talks about such serious topics. I mean, he's the Jew hunter. He's there to find Jews and kill them. Well, he may not be killing them himself, although he probably does. His job is very serious, and the way he treats it is just so as if he were selling insurance. And he does it brilliantly. Like with the story of the rat. You know, the story of the rat. If a rat came in here, would you greet it with a saucer of your milk? You know, his acting is brilliant. His acting is brilliant. Oh my God, the pipe is hilarious. When he asked to smoke his pipe, he's like, oh, of course. And he brings out that he carries that around with him is just, it's hilarious. He had that big ass fucking pipe in his pocket. I love it. It's hilarious. And the way he uses it, navigates it, the way he, again, the little things, the things he takes time to do and work with, to move the tobacco, to give it air so he can breathe. It's just, he does a great job with little props. He does a great job with props and food. Wonderful. What? Oh, when the music shifts, and because he knows they're there, and the slow zoom. Oh my God, it's so good the way he's talking to them. The door, when he's following her, he's following something under the ground. I love that slow movement, and then we get a still shot of like black, and then we see out the door. I love that shot. It's so beautiful. And then we get a slow zoom or move forward, and then he comes into the frame. after you see her, running away. I just love the way that is shot. It is shot so beautifully. I never would have thought to shoot it like that, way inside the house, and frame it with the door. It's gorgeous. It's good. And his au revoir, Shoshana! Oh, I love that. I love it. It's so beautiful. Because I expect him to shoot, and he doesn't. And he's like, au revoir, Shoshana! Like, oh, it's just... I love this movie. Chapter 2, Inglourious Basterds. Brad Pitt, like I said before, must have had so much fun doing this. This character is just... I don't think I ever saw Brad Pitt do something like this up until then. Now, he's done some characters like that where it's a little ridiculous and fun and crazy. But I think this is the first time I remember him doing this kind of a character where it's ridiculous and crazy. And caricature. It's like, he's big personality, fun. He's great. The Bear Jew. The Bear Jew is a golem. I laugh out loud uncontrollably at that part when Hitler is pissed that they're calling him the Bear Jew, and the guy's like, I don't think they really believe that he's a golem. And he's like, nobody is allowed to call him a Bear Jew ever again. It's ridiculous and it's hilarious, and that guy's fucking performance is amazing. I need to say his name. I don't know who the fuck that is, but I need to say his name because he's brilliant. Martin Woodke? Martin, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Wuttke. Woodke. Oh my God, he is brilliant. He's just... oh my God. It's not just this part. He is brilliant throughout the entire film as Hitler. It's wonderful. I love that when he's freaking out like that and he's telling them all this and he's talking to them, the guy in the background is like painting his portrait, and he looks at him and he's painting the... I was like, this is ridiculous that we see this guy's just sitting in the background painting. I love it. As Hitler's freaking out. Oh, okay. So chapter 2 goes back and forth. So my notes are choppy because chapter 2 goes back and forth in between that part with Hitler talking to the soldier that comes in about being let go by the Inglourious Basterds, and it intercuts the part with the Inglourious Basterds taking their battalion on, or their regiment or whatever, and killing them all except for him. So my notes obviously go back and forth because the scene keeps going back and forth. So I love the music when he calls over the sergeant, and he's slowly walking to Aldo. This guy is brilliant too. The guy who plays the sergeant, I'm not going to look him up because I don't remember his name. I just remember he was a sergeant. He is amazing. He embodies that character so well that I believe that he is a Nazi, and a Nazi who's won an award for bravery, I think he says, right? Holy crap, like he embodies that character so well. I love that slow move when he comes up and you feel the tension. It just builds. He looks at a couple of things, but he's very, the tension of that scene is wonderfully done. I love that they got Samuel L. Jackson to narrate. That's great. I love when Aldo is threatening that sergeant. There is no music, and the sounds of the forest is turned up. I mean, on purpose. You hear really well, and it's turned up, the sounds of the surrounding forest. I think you hear leaves, obviously leaves, birds. I think you hear water in the background. But it's really cool that they cut the music and magnified the sounds of nature there. Oh, and then that quick back and forth. Once he finally is like, he calls the Bear Jew over, I love that quick back and forth between the sergeant and the sounds of the bat in the tunnel, the and then the sergeant, and the back and forth is great. Again, building so much tension because we know something's coming, we just don't know what. And I love that Tarantino takes his time and flips back and forth a few times. It's it's a really great effect. And then how the other soldier is like freaking out and almost crying. The other two soldiers are freaking out because of what's going on and what's about to happen. It's so well done. So well done. And then, so this part is very serious and very like dramatic and like graphic when he beats the shit out of him. And then the hilarity, and I mean the hilarity of when they bring the other soldier over and he like, they ask him where are they, and he just points like no hesitation. He's like, where are they? He's like, there. How much do they have? This is what they have. You know, he's like no hesitation at all. He gives them exactly what they want. It's hilarious. So their point was made. They were trying to freak out somebody else. They knew that sergeant was never going to give them the information. They knew that. He even says, "Oh, we're glad you're not gonna. We're kind of glad you're not gonna, because this is the closest we get to watching a movie or something like that." They knew the sergeant wasn't going to give them any information. They were actually probably counting on it because it's more effective if he kills one of them on the other soldiers that remain. So very well done. I love it. Oh, we like our Nazis in uniform. The first time that happens, the first time that happens where he's like, yeah, I imagine you're going to take off that handsome looking uniform. And then he says he's going to burn it. He's like, yeah, we like our Nazis in uniform. That way we can tell who they are. We're going to give you something you can't take off. I was not expecting that. No one gave it away for me, which was great. No one blew it for me. So when I watched it, I was genuinely like, wait, what? Oh my God. And then, Hitler has him, looks at it, the scarring. Obviously the scarring wouldn't have happened that quick. Cause anyway, that's neither here nor there. The funny thing is that they actually do it. I'm like, what? He's like, you know how you get to Carnegie Hall, huh? Practice. I couldn't believe it. Leave it to Quentin Tarantino, man. Chapter 3. German Night in Paris, right? Did I write that right? I hope I did. I have horrible handwriting sometimes. I can't figure this out. Maybe you can. Maybe you have. Maybe you haven't even noticed. Why are certain words in the subtitle translated to English and certain words are not? When she says oui, it says oui. O-U-I. Merci. M-E-R-C-I. Adieu. There are certain words that she says that is not translated to yes or goodbye or none of that. Thank you. Merci is thank you, I think. I don't speak other languages. But I found it interesting that they're not translating certain words, and then certain words they do translate. I mean, obviously, most of the words they're translating, but there are certain words that they don't. Later on, I noticed that they do translate we to yes. Well, why are they doing it in one place and not the other? I don't think that was a mistake. Maybe it was. But I feel like that wasn't a mistake. That was done on purpose. But why? I can't figure out why. Or maybe it was just, who knows? But I did notice it. There are certain words, certain smaller words like that are not translated. That they are typed out in their native language. I cannot say enough about this woman who plays Shoshana Mimieux, Emmanuelle Mimieux, Melanie Laurent or Lorraine. I think it's Melanie Laurent. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I feel like it's Melanie Laurent. She is fucking brilliant. I love her. I hate that she's not nominated. She's not, is she? Actress. No. She is not nominated for leading or supporting. I wouldn't nominate her for leading anyway, but she's not nominated. I'm disappointed because she is brilliant in this film. Love her. Almost every little thing she does and some of the big things she does is just so well done. I love that she is always annoyed by what's his name? Zoller? Frederick Zoller. Their dichotomy is she's always annoyed by Frederick Zoller, and it's hilarious. It's funny, and he is like just smitten with her and loves her. That dichotomy is wonderful. I love it. I love that that's their thing. It's Quentin Tarantino. You got to give that to him. He wrote it. He wrote it that way, and I love it. And they do it very, very well. Oh, I love her, everything she does. I love her reaction to him being noticed in the cafe. So that's the second scene, not the first scene that she's in. The first scene she's in, she's changing the marquee at night, and then she leaves to avoid him. Then she's sitting reading a book in a cafe the next morning, and he comes up and recognizes he comes in. She's about to dismiss him. Like, look, I don't want anything to do with you. But then he gets recognized by these German soldiers that outrank him, and her reaction to him being recognized is great. It's brilliant. It's wonderful because she doesn't know who he is, and the fact that he's being recognized, she doesn't know how to take it, and she doesn't know why he would be recognized. Excuse me. I think she asked, "Are you somebody famous?" At a point, she finally asked, "Are you somebody famous?" I can't remember exactly, but it's so. She does a great job reacting to his being noticed. Oh, yeah. I love that the way he tells who he is and what he did, especially the way he tells how many soldiers he killed in this crow's nest or bird's nest or whatever you want to call it. I love the way he tells it is kind of like he is absolutely expecting her to be impressed by it. To be impressed by, let me tell you who I am and why these people recognize me and that I am in the movie of me. And and it is exactly the opposite. She gets up and out the door. She's like, bye. Good for you. Bye. Oh, it makes me laugh every time she gets up and she's just that abrupt, like up and out the door is just, it's hilarious. The way she's collected is I would call it collected. The way they come and get her that the next day or the next morning, get in the car. It's not Zoller. It's the other guy. It's the officer we meet later in the basement, fighting in a basement. That guy. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, I obviously did not live in that time and can't imagine the situation being collected like that. But being that she's not only not who she says she is, she's Shoshana, she's lying about who she is, but also just the tension of the time of Nazi-occupied France. I just find that part, it's quick, it's easy to, because there's so much comedy in this, and we just got through that comedic moment. It's easy to miss the seriousness of these little parts, and I find that a frightening prospect when they come and they collect her. She has no idea why. They don't want her papers. They shove her in the car, and what's going on, she has no idea. That it's just it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. The acting at the table. Okay, now she goes to lunch and she gets that this has nothing to do with her being a Jew. They don't know. This has to do with Zoller again. And of course she's slightly annoyed but relieved that it's not something more serious. So this whole lunch table thing before... Okay, so this whole first couple of minutes of this lunch scene is brilliant. I love the camera movement. I love the asides. The acting is wonderful by everybody. I find it funny, that quick little intercut where they introduce the director's translator and then he's like fucking her because that's what's happening. I thought it was funny that was put in there because you're already thinking that, and then Quentin throws it in there and you're like, I thought it was great. It's so lighthearted and fun, that scene. You would expect it to be in a rom-com. It's very well done. Very well acted. And then, holy shit, when Landa arrives. You see it in her expression. She is amazing at not showing it, but showing. It's a challenging thing to have a reaction internally and not have a reaction externally because people are watching you, that you can't give away what's going on. She does it so well. Another reason why I love her in this film. She does such a great job. But holy shit, and the music, everything changes. As the audience, I am like, holy shit. And she is too. I think the first time I watched this, I was so freaked out as the audience that I didn't pay enough attention to what she was doing. It took 2-3 times watching this film where I get to pay it. I know what's coming and I can just pay attention to her and how she performs. And she's fantastic. She's fantastic. I love her. I love the slow zoom on her. Okay, I have a big note about this. I love this slow zoom on her as they are talking about what Landa's going to stay. He's going to talk to her. And then Zoller is like, whoa, wait, what are you going to do? And Landa's like, are you questioning a superior officer? And then the director's like, no. I don't think that's what's going on. He's just smitten with her and he knows your reputation. This beautiful scene is going on between those 3 actors. And yet we don't see any of it. All we see is her and her reaction. I love it. And the slow zoom on her as she's trying to figure out what's going on, because I think she's only picking up. No, you know what? She has to know the entire conversation. Why? Because she was in. No, I'm wrong. Yes. I don't think she speaks German. And so she's only understanding that Landa is behind her. And I don't think she understands what they're talking about, but she can hear the tonality. So she has to react to what's going on. And what we're seeing as the audience, we're reading, obviously, but we also have to pay attention to what's going on with her. We don't see what's going on. Okay, so I equate this earlier in Tarantino's career, Jackie Brown, which I love. I can't believe he thinks it's his least favorite. I can't believe that because I love Jackie Brown. Anyway, there is a moment in Jackie Brown that I think is gorgeous. And of course, fucking Robert De Niro is a master. I equate it with this because this is more in your face. They literally don't show you anybody else's face. All you see is her face and their bodies moving around. So you don't see anybody else's face as this entire scene is going on. All you see is her. So Tarantino is specifically telling you, I don't want you to see this. I want you to see her. Very specifically. In Jackie Brown, he's not as blunt about it. But there's this wonderful scene where, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but there is this wonderful scene where Samuel L. Jackson is outside. Robert De Niro comes up to him and he shows him something in the trunk. And he's talking to Robert De Niro about what their partnership. Okay? And if you watch that scene and you pay very close attention, the camera is not focused on both of them. Samuel L. Jackson is actually out of focus. Robert De Niro is in focus. Okay? The entire time. Even though Robert De Niro doesn't even say a word. Samuel L. Jackson has all the lines. De Niro might say one thing at the end. Maybe two, maybe. But literally, the entire thing is Samuel L. Jackson is talking to him, and he's reacting. So it's the same situation here, where he has things to do, reaction-wise, to what he's being told. And it's brilliantly done. But what Tarantino did then was just have one of them in focus and one of them not. And not the one you would think. The one who's talking is not in focus. The one who is reacting is absolutely in focus. And he did the same thing here, only he was a lot more blunt about it. He literally cut everybody else off, and all you could see was the person reacting, not the people talking. So I love this scene. He was a little more in your face about it, and I thought it worked well. Very, very well. I don't think that this would have worked in Jackie Brown. The way he did it in Jackie Brown was brilliant. But it's easy to miss that Samuel L. Jackson in that scene is completely out of focus. And what you're focusing on and what you're supposed to focus on is Robert De Niro. Okay, anyway, moving on. Wait for the cream. Oh my God. The subtle power he displays, Landa, Christoph Waltz, is brilliant. I love this scene too. Every scene that he's in, I love. I love the whole movie. But when he says "wait for the cream," he's snarky about it. He's a little pointed about it, but he's not officer about it. But the power is still there. You know, I love it. It's a subtle thing, but I love it. Again, the busy work, the way he does he makes a point of what he is doing. Instead of just doing little things while I'm talking, he makes a point of it, and it's brilliant. It's part of his character, and it's very, very, very well done. So he's making his coffee. He's putting the sugar in the coffee. He puts the cream, or I think he puts a little bit of half and half or milk in the coffee. The way he stirs it, everything. And then when they get when they get the cream and the streusel and he cuts it and how he's eating it and the little crumbs, it's just so well done. Not only does he know how to act through the eating, he makes it something memorable, absolutely memorable. It's brilliant. And then when he puts his fucking cigarette out in it, it's just brilliant. I love it. It's great. The relief when she has that huge sigh of relief when he leaves, and she has that little bit of a reaction. You know, there's more to come. She would have a bigger reaction than that, but all we see is that little bit, and it's fine, and it's brilliant. I think as an audience member, I didn't know I was waiting for it. But when it happened, I was like, oh, it did happen. Oh, good. Because I think I was waiting for that relief, you know? And then obviously, there's so much I didn't expect in this movie. I didn't expect it to go this way. And she's like, we're going to burn the theater down and kill them all. And I was like, wait, is this really what's going on right now? Wait, it seems so simple and obvious, but wait, I didn't expect that to go that way. Brilliant, wonderful. Chapter 4, Operation Kino. Again, Mike Myers? Did Mike Myers just really want to be in this film? I don't understand why Mike Myers. There's no reason for him to be plastered with a bunch of makeup and then putting on an English accent, which was... Anyway, I was like, why? Why? I do have to say, I love Fassbender. Love him. And I do have to say, one of the lines that always, always comes up for me, anytime I think about this film, I don't necessarily have to be watching it, but the line that always comes up for me when I think about this film is when he says, if you gave me a scotch and plain water, I would drink a scotch and plain water. And then right after, when Mike Myers says, whiskey, no junk in it. There's something about that interaction. There's something about those lines that just stick in my brain. I mean, I happen to like scotch. I happen to like, bourbon and certain whiskeys. I mean, scotch is whiskey. It's just made in Scotland. I do happen to like them, but that's not why I love these lines, because I don't take my scotch or my whiskey either way they took it. I just thought it was so... It wasn't a line I would think to put in there, and done so well. Because, as I've said in other reviews, alcohol in movies, mostly, unless the movie is about alcohol somehow, alcohol is treated very plain and nonchalant. People will just... And no mixing and no... I mean, I've got gin and tonic, okay? That is probably one of the simplest things I do. Every once in a while, I'll have just plain scotch or bourbon or something like that. But for the most part, I make a drink. A Manhattan, a Midori Sour, which I've been doing. It's the summer, so Midori Sour, or Gin Fizz, or, I finally learned how to make a margarita from scratch, and I love them from scratch, not with some mix. It's a whole other thing. Anyway, I think the reason why this stuck in my mind is because these characters had a very specific way they drink their scotch, their drink. And they're not afraid to put it in here, to say it. And I loved that they were very different. They're drinking the same thing very differently, and they have strong opinions about it. That's why they ask for it the way they ask for it. And most movies don't pay attention to that sort of thing. And I love that Tarantino put that in. It's odd for a film to put it in, and he put it in, and it works. In my opinion, it works very well. And Fassbender is wonderful. Love him. I'll say it again. The fighting in the basement is just hilarious. It's just hilarious. Number one, you're fighting in a basement. Oh, Stiglitz. I can't really think of it right now. Oh my God, I've got so many notes. It's not coming up in my brain right now. There are other films that have done this sort of thing, but I love the way he is sitting there sharpening his knife, and he says, we need to be calm. And he said, don't I look calm? And he said, well, now that you put it that way, I guess you do. Wonderfully done. They've done that sort of thing in other films. This is done very, very well. This entire basement scene, I would have to say is my favorite part of the whole film. Just from beginning to end, the entire basement scene is brilliant. Brilliant. I would love to see this on stage. I don't know why. I just want to find other people to throw in there, and not just the monotonous of the film, which is the same person playing the same character every single time. I would love to have other people play around with making this scene, because this scene is brilliant. I love it. Love it. Love it. And the acting by everybody in this scene is superb. It's wonderful. The camera movements, the lighting is gorgeous. I just love it. So in the beginning, I didn't mention that I love the lighting in the very first scene when Landa is pulling out his pen and pulls out the book. The lighting is simple and brilliant. And they do the same lighting here in the basement. And what I mean by that is they have a spot, and I'm sure it's a small spot, going straight down, illuminating something on the table that is lighting everybody from underneath. So we are not lighting everybody from top. We have a spot on top, very bright, shining down on something that brightens and illuminates something on the table that is literally now lighting everybody from underneath. And it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love it. Especially for those two scenes. There's something about the intimacy and the tension in those scenes. This lighting works perfectly. Perfectly. I think it's brilliant. The game they play looks like fun. I wish I had people to like sit and play that with, because that seems like a fun game. I already said the lighting. I just talked about that. The strange accent, super smart. I love this whole scene is written so well. The accent and how the accent is different really works really well. I love it. The reveal of the other officer behind the wherever he is, like sitting behind the other wall or whatever. The revelation, the reveal of that guy is just great. And that he takes his time, like he stops everything and allows this man, this officer, the time to get up, reset the music or whatever he does, have his drink. He comes in and he walks over. It's just the entire room, the entire bar stops for this, and it's wonderfully done. Because again, this scene is a lot about tension building, and that's a great tension builder, is to stop everything, especially if you're in the middle of a conflict or in the middle of a tense situation. You stop everything, and then now you're like, it's a wonderful tension builder. I love it. That movie he claims to be in, when he's like, everybody in my village, on the bottom of at the base of the Piz Baloo, we all talk like this. And he says, "Did you see this movie? Me and my brother, we were all in it." Isn't that the movie that Mimu Shoshana is taking down off the marquee the first time we see her at the when Zoller comes at night and is talking to her and she's taking down the marquee? Isn't that the movie he's talking about? I think it is. I think he is talking about a movie that she was just taking out. She was just showing at her theater. Anyway, little inside thing that I was like, I noticed tonight. I was like, wait, isn't that the movie she was taking down? They're talking about that same film. Oh, so this whole tension, this whole part with the tension that started where Michael Fassbender's character is chastising Wilhelm because Wilhelm is bothering them. And he says, "You're at a table of officers." And then all of a sudden the other officer shows up and stops everything. So Wilhelm is still sitting there questioning him about his accent. That's what it was. He's questioning an officer about his accent. And he's like, "You're at a table of officers. You should be over at your table within the enlisted." What I love is he's still sitting there through all this tension, and the new officer now reveals himself. But the funny, I think it's hilarious when he finally motions to him to get out of there, and his friends like yank him out of there. Let's get out of this situation. I think it's hilarious. They're just like, oh my God, get him out of there. Oh my God. Stiglitz's his disdain on his face this entire scene is just too much. I mean, we know why. We get why, even though we don't see that man actually yielding the whip that is whipping Stiglitz. We know that he was either responsible or was the person whipping him. That's why Stiglitz is so like, the look on his face, the entire scene is like of such disdain. It's hilarious. It's too much. It's just great. It's just, he's just oozing that vengeance and hate and that, oh my God. Oh, the three. So the three glasses, tres glasses, or however you says it. The three for the three. You see it on the officer's face. Something's not right, and you know as the audience, something just happened. Something significant just happened. Something. You don't know quite what it is. At least I didn't when I watched it. I was like, whoa, wait, what? I get something's up. I just don't know what. And then, of course, he tells him. But that whole tension, again, when you want to create tension, sometimes it's great to just stop. And that's what he did. You knew by the look on the officer's face something was wrong. Traes glasses. Something was wrong. You don't know what. And you kind of see it on his face because we pay attention to him a lot in that scene. You kind of see it on his face that there's something up. But we take our time with getting the whiskey over to the table and pouring the whiskey. And yes, this is the right one. And yep, everything. We take our time with all of that, which builds the tension even more, which is great. You don't mind if this is to be the end, old boy. You don't mind me speaking the Kings. I love that line when he says, I mind you speaking the Kings. There's a special rung in hell for those who waste good scotch. That line's great too. There's some cool lines. It makes me think. I don't know if it makes you think. It makes me think. If I knew the end was imminent, what would be the last things out of my mind? What would be the last thoughts out of my head? I don't know what they would be, but I guess it depends on the situation. But in this situation, I love that those are the last few things he says, the important things to him in that moment. And the mayhem of when the shooting starts is just gorgeous. I love to rewind that and watch it and rewind it, watch it, rewind it and watch it. They beautifully edited that together to show you what they wanted. It's wonderfully, choreographed, I'm sure. It's just beautiful. I love that it feels and looks so much like mayhem, but when you slow it down and look at it, you go, they really took time and made this look beautiful. Beautiful. It's very well done, and everything has its precise moment, but in the midst of it, as an audience member, you're like, it's so much mayhem, and you're just like, whoa, it's wonderful. A Mexican standoff. You got guns on us. You shoot, we're dead. Up there, they got grenades. They throw them down, you're dead. That's a Mexican standoff, and that was not part of the deal. I did not, again, there are so many lines and so many parts in this movie I was not expecting, but they're done brilliantly, and that is absolutely one of them. Brad Pitt is just amazing in this movie. He committed 1,000% to this character, and he was perfect. Now, having watched it so many times, I can't imagine anybody else doing it. Like, yes, you could throw a bunch of other people, and I'm sure a bunch of other people would be able to perform that very, very well, but it's hard for me to even think of anybody but him doing it. Just wow. I speak the most Italian, so I'll go. I like what he said, and you speak the third most Italian. So he said, I don't speak Italian. Like I said, third best. Like, what? That always cracks me up. Yeah, like I said, third best. What? He's like, I don't speak Italian. Oh my God. Okay, so many other things I'm not going to talk about. Let's move on. I've spent too much time and too many notes. Little tiny things, the napkin, and it doesn't matter. I talk about that later. So, Chapter 5, Revenge of the Giant Face. I think they've used this song in other films, but this is fucking brilliant. David Bowie's Cat People. Such a great song, so much great energy, and the movements in it are great, but using it here, I just felt like it was so perfect. Quentin Tarantino is great about picking perfect songs for perfect moments. This is no exception. It's brilliant. He chose just the perfect song for the perfect moment, and it works brilliantly. I love it, that whole beginning sequence. developing the film. I like when they force that guy to develop the film. I love that little that cut scene because they're talking about it, who's going to do it. I think that's funny. I love that Colonel Landa sees Hammerschmark before we do. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, who did he see? Who did he see? But, he has her shoe, which I'll talk about in a second. But I love that he sees her before the audience sees her, and then he comes all the way down, and then we finally know, okay, that's who he's after. Because we're not 100% sure, but now we know, okay, it's Hammerschmark. It's all of them. His uncontrollable laughter at the mountain climbing is hilarious. It makes me laugh because he is like literally like, that is the dumbest fucking excuse in the world. He knows she's gonna lie before he even asks the question. He knows she is gonna lie because he knows how she was hurt. So, but the fact that I think he was expecting something better than a lie about mountain climbing. Really? You're in France. Where the fuck did you go mountain climbing? Like, wait, what? So his laughter at that is just, it's hilarious. It's great. And of course, and I felt this the first time I watched it, I literally, when Landa starts speaking fluent Italian, I was just like, fuck, of course he speaks Italian. Oh, of course. Oh my God. So here we've seen this man speak German, French, English, and at this point I am not surprised there's another language he knows, and brilliantly, and it was just like, the final nail in the coffin is, of course, Landa speaks Italian. The one language that the Americans could muddle through, the one language that Hammerschmark was like, Germans don't have a good ear for Italian. This'll work. Of course, Landa speaks it. Like, fuck you. Like, this couldn't go any worse. And Aldo... Gorlami. It's hilarious that his Tennessee accent is so fucking thick that even if he tries to speak another language, it sounds like a Tennessee accent. It's perfect for the character. I mean, it really is. And Brad Pitt did a wonderful job. It's hilarious as the audience just be Gorlami. Oh my God. Oh, arrivederci. Christoph again. Christoph with a dainty thing. His delicacy with taking her shoe off is so brilliant. Everything he does, he makes such a point of props. It's really great. So what I noticed watching it this time that I didn't notice before is that if she's in the basement and she gets shot in the leg and she falls down, everybody's dead, she's leaving the basement. Obviously, she's not walking on the leg that she's shot in. They wouldn't let her. You can't really carry her up that spinal staircase. This is me thinking too much. So she's got to be hopping, being helped on the leg she can walk on. So it would be reasonable to assume that if she left any shoe down in the basement, it would be the one that should be on the leg that's shot, because she wouldn't notice that she's missing a shoe. But if she's hopping on a leg that has no shoe, she should know that there's no shoe. Wait, get my shoe. Don't leave the shoe there. Why? Because it's fucking evidence. Maybe she does or doesn't think this way. Again, this is me overthinking. What I can't believe is that he brings the shoe that he finds in the basement is the shoe for her good foot. Why? Because he puts it on her good foot. So that's the shoe that she left. She wouldn't have left that shoe. That's just me thinking. But, overthinking. But then again, if it weren't that shoe, then you would have the shoe for the foot that's in a cast, and you can't really do the Cinderella thing with the fucking foot that's in a cast. So either you do it in a way that makes no sense, or you or you can't do it. So you're forced to do it in the way that makes no sense. So I just noticed that this last time I watched it, I went, wait, there's no way she would leave that shoe. There's no way no way. She would know she's hopping around on a foot, not a shoe. And that's the shoe he has. No, it wouldn't. No, it didn't work. Anyway, me overthinking little things in the film. If that is the thing that I am noticing that is wrong about the film, then the film is brilliant. If that's the only thing I can come up with that's like, that's not right, then it's a brilliantly made film. I love when Landa finally loses his shit and like chokes the life out of her. I love that part because it's so not him, but it is him. It's so up at his last point, and it's the only time in the entire film that he's that way, and it's so great to see that. It's so great to see that he has that in him, as tight-laced as that character is throughout the entire movie. That's the German's nickname for me, the little man. I can't help but laugh. I'm like, it's funny and like endearing at the same time. It's too great. Like, again, so many lines I never would have even thought to write, and it's wonderful. We finally see that. Okay, so we know Udovic doesn't like his nickname, but we finally now see in this revelation, in this talk that they're having about names, that Landa doesn't really like his nickname either. He finds it distasteful. Whereas in the beginning, he was telling that Frenchman that he enjoys his name, that he likes his name, that he deserves his name. And then here we finally see that he's, honestly, he finds it distasteful. I thought that was interesting. I talk about a dramatic turn of events when Landa says, let's end the war. Let's talk about ending the war. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? I was not expecting that of that kind of character to be like, I'm fully willing to talk about ending the Third Reich. I don't know if I caught this before, but I definitely caught it the other night when I watched it. Landa's pouring them wine. He's trying to make this conversational. I forget. There's a word for it, but I can't remember it right now. He's trying to extend an olive branch type of thing. And he's pouring them wine, but they're handcuffed. They're both handcuffed behind their back. Like, what is... The image of the wine glasses in front of them, him pouring it, and them clearly being handcuffed behind their back was just like, I don't get. Is this supposed to be funny? I don't get. I'm not finding the comedy in that, but I don't know. I was like, what should they not? They shouldn't be handcuffed, right? Why are they handcuffed and you're giving them wine? It rang weird for me. Whereas I don't know if I had noticed that before. Maybe I did. Ooh, that's a bingo. Is that how you say it? Is the bingo? You just say bingo. That's great. That's bingo. What fun. Both of them, in the same scene together is just, it's fantastic. They're great. They're great together. I love that line. Oh, so... I was like, why am I talking about the movie in my notes? I love that everybody is so into this movie that they're watching at the theater that when one of the bastards comes up and like, psst, his buddy's like, wait, what? He's like, he's so enthralled in the movie. And he's like, huh? Everybody's irritated and upset. And then he makes him get up and come over and like falls over. I thought that was really funny. I thought it was funny that everybody was so riveted by this film, including the other bastard. It was funny. Oh, the locking of the theater. So they make, when Marcel goes out to lock them in the theater, it's time to lock them in the theater because soon we're going to burn it down. The locking of the theater, the locking of the doors, the bar he puts to stop them from being able to come out is so fucking loud. Of course, nobody hears it in the theater, but I love that it's so loud as the audience. He made it loud. And I love that he did that because the movie inside is everybody's shooting and it's so loud and crazy and it's war. Of course, they can't hear it. They have no idea. But I love that he made that so loud to make that point. I love... Just like Samuel L. Jackson had a little narration, I was like, oh, that's cool to hear him because he's been in so many of Tarantino's films. But here we go. Harvey Keitel as well has a quick voiceover. He's the officer on the other end. I love that they got Keitel to do that. That was nice. I was so shocked when this part between Zoller and Shoshana in the projection room. I was so shocked, not expecting. So both parts. One, that he shows such anger towards her, and then two, she's like turns the table, lock the door, almost as if like he finally found what will attract her. I mean, obviously it's a ruse. But I was kind of like not sure what to expect. Is this real? Is this not real? And then, of course, she goes for the gun and shoots him. And I was like, what? And then when he shoots her, I was, whoa. That whole part is just one shock after another. I was not expecting any of that. And it was shocking. I was like, holy, whoa. I was not expecting it to go there. Not expecting it to go there. I love that her death, her being shot, her falling is slow-mo. Very well done. She's the significant one. She's the important one. And I love that her death is... wasn't expecting it. I mean, because she got away in the beginning, there was a part of me as an audience member that doesn't want this to happen to her. I want her to get away. But when she does die, they make a big deal about it. And I like that. I love Shoshana's video or movie that she interjects in the movie. So great. Oui, Shoshana. Marcel in the back, oui, Shoshana, and then Marcel, burn it down. He says, oui, Shoshana. I love it. It's such a great, again, there's so much about the ending I was not expecting. It's so great and so shocking and so good. Burning it down, shooting Hitler, like just riddling him with bullets. The explosions, all of it. It was just so unexpected and yet just cathartic, like wonderful, and just like, yes. And then the very end. I made a deal for that man's life. I forget what he tells him. You'll be in jail for this, or you'll get arrested for this. And he says, no, more like chewed out. I've been chewed out before. Oh my God. And it's so true. And he's not worried about it. Lieutenant, Aldo's not worried about it. And then of course, I'm going to give you a little something you can't take off. And then they show it. Like I said before, I was not expecting that. I was brilliantly surprised, shocked, and love that they finally show it. I mean, they've shown the other side of it so like 2 or 3 times throughout the film, and so you want them to show it, and they do, and it's everything you want. Because as much as you like Christoph Waltz and his acting, you don't like the character. And so I think at the end when he gets it, you want him to, and it's great. Anyway, a little longer than I wanted, but that's me on Inglourious Basterds. Such a wonderful film. I just love Tarantino, and this is a brilliant one. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. So thanks a lot for listening, and I'll get you another one soon. Thanks a lot. Take care.